Oh, we're just gonna only finish up the 1 day, so that super sucks. Tough, tough, tough. I hate when I accidentally do that. Alright, so short, next position. Let me make sure it's the right entry. Yes, 0.618. This entry occurs at 21:55. So again, in a macro, 8.19R. Oh, there's also a new one. I don't have this one yet. Okay, last entry here. Oh, hold on. I didn't drag the stop loss here. The trailing stop. And now the last one for sure. $10.81R. Entry at 2205. Also in the macro. Again, a points. Oh no, it's a 0.705 level. Darn. 105. Q3. I already forgot. 10.81. Okay. Now I need to do this math really quick. $22, $23, 1 minus 15. So 180 minus 15, 165. 140. No, 35. 130. And 2 hours. 23, 105. So 120. Okay, that looks right. All right. Pretty clean. Oh man, I didn't track any of these for the reps that we did today. Okay, they all delivered. Oh, they all delivered to all of them actually. No significant retracements really for all of them, so all directly to 4.5. That's a rare case. Alright, let's see if we get more. Any questions? Sweet. Oh, hold on guys, I have a message from my boss, LMT. Alright. Let's go. LMT be feeding us. Alright, we have this one tapping into this Q3 now. Now, okay, this is the question here. I can tell from the eye that it's probably not. So, we've already reached discount here. So, I'd be inclined to draw OTE like this. Right, but it's not the entire expansion like of the zone. This is, and I think this is kind of gonna be discretion at this point, right? Because personally I wouldn't draw it from there into that. Did I already draw that into that high? I did. Okay, so this is technically EQ of the entire range out of the zone, but I wouldn't, as an ICT student, I would draw it from here personally, because this one already went into discount. But you know, so this is tapping 50% there, right? But I think that's me adding discretion or adding my knowledge to it, so I won't record that as a rep technically, or as like I won't record this as an entry, because that's just, I don't think everyone can approach that way. Yeah, great. Thank you so much for the confirmation, Cozy, for sure. So, because, you know, we all know definitely you have done your studying. So, okay. Alright, so we do have a Q3 here. After tapping EQ here, so it goes up and fails previous day high. So clean. Q3. We can remove this one. That was just there in case that low holds. So we now can draw out the wrong thing. Okay. So so 4 to 4.5 would bring us into OTE of previous day, as well as OTE of this entire range that expanded slightly above previous day high. So this initial one brought us into the zone. We reaccumulated and had a manipulation CSD lower. And this is the deviation, the first deviation occurring at the beginning of the 4-hour candle. We've traded above midnight, or we've traded both sides of midnight at this point, but yeah. Let's see. Okay, let me draw out OTE here in case we get it. So in this case, because EQ is below the zone, we would be able to take the entry as soon as the zone is tapped, and that would be the 0.5 entry level. So 0.5, anything above this 0.618, anything above that 0.705, and anything above this 0.79. This is obviously the OB here. We do also have a clean breaker here, which has been rare, honestly. And then this clear fair value gap. So always like the PD raise and OTE. Like for this example, this would be an iteration of 2 gaps and a block. And if you know, you know. Okay, zone missed. Pain. Alright, so now we are theoretically in this trade. Stop loss there. Imagine I have all the positions on. This is, I think, fairly mechanical and reasonable because we went up and took out all the quarter highs, displaced lower after taking out previous day high, after meeting full ranges on the previous deviation as well. So overall narrative is bullish though, but we can get into EQ of previous day. Alright, so still only the 0.618 levels have been achieved, nothing else. No new low created after this low or after this displacement. Generally worrisome. Even after the pullback, you want it to kind of immediately close that low. Alright. Likely to get stopped out here. Brutal. Brutal. So 2 to 6 is mostly consolidation. It creates the range early on in the candle and then consolidates for the rest of it. Then we go into 6 a.m. Now 2 a.m. candle does close bearish, so you do have reason to hold. At this point, I think is when Adrian said he would trail his stop though. So I think technically we would be BE here. But this entry now would occur after the 6 a.m. candle. So I think maybe this is the only one that would be holding. We actually BE at the open of the 4-hour candle. Technically. On the 0.5. This one BE's here. Okay, let me just play it through and we'll see if this one gets stopped out. Oof. Okay, so it would have hit TP. Let's see what happened first. Ooh, tough, tough, tough. It's not gonna let us see. Darn. 1 isn't available. 15? Also not available. Oh, only 1 minute is available for historical data. Oh, that's so rough. That's rough. Okay, this is 8:30 news. This is obviously NFP. Probably would have trailed our stops anyway. Probably would not have taken that entry. Let me go back and reevaluate here. Okay. So this entry would have occurred. We displaced below midnight. We're coming into 8:30 news. None of us can theoretically hold this trade anyway because we're more than likely trading TPT. I think it's fair to call them all break even. Because at this point, going into news, you would break even. These going into the next 4-hour candle, we would have broken even according to Adrian's rule of like holding for the next 4-hour candle. There is reason to continue to hold the trade, but we would have broken even. So okay, tough. Let me record this really quick. This is going to be super brutal. Let's remove this one. Okay. Again, overall context. We did get all 4 entries, unfortunately. Man, Notion is really starting to slow down. Oh, shoot. I don't even have my positions up yet. What am I doing? Okay, hold on. Bear with me. Bear with me. 0.5 first. Would have been at the zone. So entry there. Aiming for 1.5 at least. And trailing stop would have occurred at the open of this candle. So BE there. .618. Enters on that candle. Again, target 1.5. Oh wow, that wouldn't have broken even until there. 0.705. Maybe this one would have been a loss. Oh no, because it wouldn't have stop loss. What am I talking about? So it enters when the other candles close, when the other trades close, interestingly enough. And break even right before the news. Oh yeah, this is gonna be super funky. Okay. And another one, last one. .79 enters there, and I'll use the same trailing stop for this one. Okay, now this one may also be debatable because I don't know. I know that I'm positive Adrian has a rule around entering with news. Yeah, his NFP. Excuse me. I'm sure he doesn't even trade around the news at all. Like, we're going into NFP. I'm positive more than likely probably none of us would have traded this. But if you were a DGen, you would have at least, I think, hopefully, you would have trailed your stop at the candle before. Because assuming that all Kingline members are trading TPT. TPT doesn't allow you to trade NFP anyway. So, you know, assuming we would have all gotten out at this candle or at least trailed our stop. Hold on, excuse me. Oh, man. It's the AC. Thank you, thank you. Thank you. Alright, here we go. Let's, do our job. We'll see what the rest of NFP looks like after this. Just curious. That low. What about that low? Oh, is that NFP? No, I think this is oh, CE of Wick. Sorry, I missed that part. Boom. Beautiful. Right above EQ too. Yeah, I love, man, CEs of Wix. It's the best. Alright, so this is all 4. This was February 7th, NFP. So the note for today is obviously going to be NFP for this one. Oh. Alright. Friday. Okay. And this is all the 6 to 10 a.m. candle, right? No, they're not. Some are to the first 2 are 2 to 6. The last 2 are 6 to 10. Alright, now I'll get into the individual trades here. Alright, so 0.5 first. Also hide this one. That's not what I wanted to do. Alright, so the reason this BEs, guys, is because Adrian says if we are going to hold for the next 4-hour candle, right, provided you have the context that you should hold for the 4-hour candle, we were taking a short, right, and the 4-hour candle did indeed close bearish, so it does give us reason to keep holding this trade. But if you're going to continue to hold for the trade, then you would at least break even, because you know you've been holding this trade for 4 hours. So that's the rule set behind it. I actually need to add that to the rules on the sheet, but that's the idea of why this would have been considered break even by this point at the open of the 6 a.m. candle. Alright, so this entry was at 4:05 and it exited at 6 a.m. This is actually an instance. Okay, yeah. This is the first time we get to use the breaker. And we enter this trade in Q3. This is 0.5. 0.618. It's the wrong one. And is there SBS here? These are all entry 2. Theoretically at the time. There is none of this because it gets invalidated. And this entry happens in the 350 to 410. So this one is break even with nothing achieved. 0 R. And did I take a screenshot? I don't recall. Alright, so I think all of them hit B if I recall correctly. I'll just check all of that now, because Notion started being a pain in my ass. Second entry. So just moving the trailing stop up. So this one would be at 640. Entry at 440. Q4 entry. This is a rare one where it's the OB, the fair value gap, and the breaker. And no macro. All zero. Oops, darn. Third entry. Okay, you can hardly see that because I drew the stop loss out all the way. Okay. This entry is at 640 at 825. 640 to 825. And we entered in Q1. I didn't see. This is also all three. No macro. I think that's the right screenshot. And last entry. Thank God we made it. This one was brutal. Alright, entry here was at 650. See, that 0.79 level, I'm telling you. Let me do it backwards. Also Q1. $7.50. Oh, minus 10 minutes, so 95 minutes. Okay. Alright, good to go. Let me double check this. Oh, it technically broke even at 8:30. So it's either it would have closed in profit or it would have broken even. I'm gonna leave it at BE, but I will change this to 8:30. And this would be 100 minutes. Okay. Alright. Let's see if the rest of NFP has anything to offer. Let's delete all of these. Alright, so we have NFP high and low. Basically the high and low that we have to break to get a manipulation. I mean to get a CSD. Oh wow. Okay. Okay then. CSD higher in Q3. Wicked. That's gonna be a massive stop. Huh. We're probably not gonna get anything out of this. You know, again, just using the mechanical approach, not using logic here, not using discretion. Obviously, I would use this stop or this low as the stop personally. But yeah, this is we'll see. We'll see what happens. Okay then. Stop loss ran. Right? Okay, so CSD is out now actually this way. That's actually good. There was no, obviously there was no entry there. There wasn't an entry to be taken there. There was no displacement out, and then, yeah. Gotta love when that happens. Okay, we had gotten Friday expansion recently before this price action. So let's see if this ends up being another Friday expansion. It looks like, where's weekly open? Okay, weekly opens all the way down here. Let's see if 1.5 has already been hit. 1.5 already hit, so we can't trade off of that. So now we gotta wait for the next one to see if we even get a Q3. Not convincing. So we're in 3 deviations. I would actually expect continuation lower here, not higher. But this would be for higher if I'm wrong. Lower would be this one. Not a Q3 manipulation though, because the obvious manipulation is here is Q2. Oh, we're end of day. Okay, that wraps up the first week of February. Great. I've learned NFP is usually the Judas for the month. Also keeping in mind seasonal tendency. Yeah, of course. Yeah, first week of the month in general, with NFP sealing it off, right? So ideally NFP confirms the CSD or the manipulation for the month, but that entire week of price action on a monthly basis, right? So, or let's say hourly. So the month opens February. Here, sorry, the month opens down here. We trade all the way up, grinding slowly, and then CSD lower here. So from there, I mean I would use this swing for sure, this low here, closing below a daily low. So on a daily basis, it looks like that. Right, and then reaching into this to then see what happens here. Because then the second week, CPI, does it send it back through NFP? And then the third week, distribution, usually I think core PCE, if I'm not mistaken. Whatever happens in the third week of news, I don't remember. And then final week. Oh, I think the third week is actually FOMC. Final week, I think, is core PCE. But yeah, definitely I have the same thought process. NFP, usually the manipulation for the month. First week in general, manipulation of the month, with CPI confirming in the direction. Yeah, exactly, 100%. Alright guys, I did record the last, I don't know, 20 minutes to an hour for sure. But there's like a 2-hour gap in the middle of this video where there's complete silence. So debatable if this video will even be uploaded. I will edit it after this and we'll see if, but there's a large chunk of sound missing in the middle for sure. So I don't think today's video is going to be uploaded at all. But if you were here, hopefully you found this insightful. Does anyone have any questions before we jump off? Yeah, I mean, maybe I'll post it. Yeah, maybe I'll post it, but maybe I'll post it in the maybe I'll cut out the silent section. Maybe I'll make it 2 videos. Maybe one video will actually have audio and it'll just be missing that chunk in the middle, and then that chunk in the middle will be a part of another playlist that I actually do data collection just silently without talking. We'll see. I'll have to edit and figure it out. The Notion link. Let me lock it so you guys don't accidentally edit it. For the record, if you guys just scroll up, all the links are usually in this channel, because I'm the only one that uses it. My pleasure. Alright guys, have a good weekend. Be safe. Thank you, Cozy. Thank you for always being here and providing your insight as well. Have a good weekend. I will see you guys next week. Cheers.